Serial killers didn't suddenly appear. They'd been out there for decades, maybe centuries, hunting in the shadows. What changed was how we saw them.
Early 1900s, the term serial murderer, serial killer didn't exist. It's really only something that came into prominence late 80s, and of course movies like Silence of the Lambs were, for many of us of a certain age group, the first real serial killer movie, although, they had been around for much longer. We don't get a lot of serial murderers who are killing for money. So people sometimes think, well, that isn't serial murder because it's not someone's raping and killing, but, serial murderers can express their crimes in quite different ways. The question is, do you have at least sort of two separate murders?
Popular psychology painted them as loners who tortured animals. The science? Far messier.
If I look at the cases I've worked on, the serial murderers had such varied backgrounds. There's not one nice, clear pathway that this had happened at roughly this age and then that happened. And if that was the case, we'd be able to identify serial murderers at quite an early phase before they kill anybody. But we've had ones that have had very normal upbringings. We've had ones that have horrific upbringings. But I also like to say in court that we've had also just as many people who've had horrific upbringings that don't hurt a fly. So it is not a hard and cast pathway to serial murder development is to have gone through a troubled childhood. Yes, if you have a child who's intentionally hurting animals, it's different when they're very small and they don't realize what they're doing is causing pain. But when you're old enough to realize that your actions are causing pain to a living thing, whenever you come across that in a child, you should probably get that child some help. Are you automatically going to become a serial murderer? No, but you do need some help and intervention.
Those are the tendencies of a psychotic person starting off with killing and enjoying the killing, not being emotionally disturbed by it, but rather deriving pleasure from it.
When we gave these predators a name, the patterns began to emerge.
So what we typically find, say, with your average serial murderer is that they kind of have a preferred method of killing someone. The Moses Satole serial murderers who hated women, go out, rape them, strangle them, etc., and get pleasure out of the killing process. That's often based on some underlying fantasy. So the way you're going to kill your victims and who you choose as a victim is very much linked to that fantasy.
They have very, very irrational ways of condoning what they actually do. And they have a strong self-belief in that.
Arrogance stand out, and with arrogance come that persona that if I can't have it, no one will.
You'd have to have this ability to have this veneer of normalness around you, this facade of normalness. But underneath, it almost feels as if there's nothing there.
Before the 1980s, serial killers hid in plain sight. After that, their crimes didn't get deadlier. We just started keeping score.